What if the shift you've been praying for doesn't begin in a distant moment, but right here, in the pause between two tasks? What if the sacred isn't something you need to find, but something waiting for you, in the rhythm you already live? Maybe you've been rushing. Maybe your days feel like a blur. Emails, traffic, laundry, more to-do lists than time. You wake up already behind. You fall asleep still carrying what you didn't finish, but somewhere in the middle of all that noise, there's still space to breathe, still space to believe, still space to pray. Even just one small prayer. You don't need a mountaintop retreat to connect with God. You don't need to wait for silence or perfection. Sometimes heaven brushes against your shoulder while you're brushing your teeth. Sometimes peace comes not in hours of stillness, but in seconds of surrender. A whispered thank you while folding a shirt, a silent help me while waiting at the red light, a quiet I trust you as you pour your morning coffee. Small prayers, but they move things inside you. They soften the edges of a hard day. They shift your attention from survival to presence, from pressure to grace. Maybe this is the invitation, not to escape your routine, but to meet God in it, to turn ordinary moments into sacred ground, to stop separating the spiritual from the practical, to let your real life become your altar, because maybe prayer is less about the right words and more about the honest heart, the willingness to pause, even just for a breath, and in that breath, you remember, you're not alone, you're not forgotten, you are already seen, heard and held. You see, the soul doesn't need grand gestures. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It listens for sincerity. It responds to the honest whisper that rises in the middle of chaos. God isn't keeping score of how poetic your prayer sounds. God meets you in the unfinished sentence, in the broken hallelujah, in the sigh that doesn't know what to say, but still turns upward. So what if today your devotion isn't measured by how much you accomplish, but by how often you return? Return to stillness, return to kindness, return to a simple breath that reminds you this moment is sacred too. Maybe your routine doesn't need to be interrupted, only inhabited with greater awareness, because God is not only in churches or sacred texts. God is also in the sink full of dishes, in the pile of clothes you've folded for your children, in the coffee that warms your hands on a cold morning, and yes, even in the frustration, even in the delay, even in the heaviness you can't quite name. He is there, not as a distant force, but as the quiet presence that holds you. When you can't hold yourself, let this truth settle gently in your spirit. You don't need to try harder to be close to God. You just need to look closer, because faith isn't just found in holy places. It grows in honest places, in messy places, in daily, ordinary places, like your commute, like your kitchen, like the moment you decide not to yell, but breathe instead. That too is prayer. That pause, that choice, that small moment where you shift from reacting to responding is where something sacred begins. Not because the moment is perfect, but because you offered it. You are not behind in your faith just because your prayers are short. You're not less spiritual because your moments of silence are interrupted by life. You're walking a sacred path, even if it wins through laundry, traffic, and deadlines. God does not wait for a perfect version of you to show up. He walks with you now, in the version that forgets, doubts, gets tired, and tries again anyway. Your faith is not measured in perfection, but in persistence, in the way you get up, in the way you try again, in the way you whisper, thank you, even when things feel heavy. Maybe you don't need more time to pray. Maybe you just need to see that what you're already doing can become prayer, the way you listen patiently, the way you slow down when someone needs care, the way you breathe deeply when anxiety knocks at the door. That is sacred because prayer isn't always words. Sometimes it's presence. Sometimes it's holding back a reaction. Sometimes it's choosing to love in quiet ways. And sometimes prayer is simply showing up, weary, distracted, unsure, but willing to see the divine in the ordinary, willing to believe that even your smallest offering matters, willing to trust that what feels unnoticed is fully seen by God. So today, don't underestimate the power of a small pause, a whispered hope, a quiet act of kindness, because heaven leans close to the humble, hidden places. And your ordinary life, yes, this one, is the place where miracles still begin. So maybe today, you don't need to do more. You just need to notice more, to breathe gently, to look around your life with softer eyes, to understand that holiness is not something you visit on Sundays, but something you carry into Monday mornings, into waiting rooms, into grocery lines, into bedtime routines. God is not limited to sacred spaces. He is not waiting for silence to speak. He is already in the noise, already in the mess, already in your now. Let that thought settle deep in your spirit, because once you realize God is not far, everything changes. Peace doesn't become a goal. It becomes a rhythm. Faith doesn't become a performance. It becomes presence. Prayer doesn't need a stage. It just needs a willing heart. And maybe that's all you needed to hear today. So if this moment spoke to your spirit, you're not alone. There are many walking the same path, finding beauty in small steps, strength in quiet trust, and God in the ordinary. We'd love to know what small moment in your routine feels sacred to you. Share in the comments. It might inspire someone else today. And if this reflection grounded your heart, subscribe, leave a comment, and click the bell to receive more of these weekly pauses. Let's keep finding God right where we are, no matter where you are. We walk together in faith.